I'll show you the table. Don't touch this red light. How will it end? After receiving an order from the owner, 2 of his men left immediately. And after a while, they got back to the news, asked for total momentum support, as the owner said. A man with loose hair continued. But they say that you can't send that many troops right away. He turned his face in and gripped the sword. Call the map experts and redraw the blueprints of the museum. After listening, the beggars asked why. The Lord of the Rings said, let them understand. Communication to the sects. You can buy this museum. That will leave them for cheap. The 2 men quickly replied, yes. The beggar asked again, do you need to choose a school? The owner replied immediately, now is not the time to choose. Trust me. From the sects around here. 2 people with names all. After listening, they can only say yes. He continued more. Find out which way the dragon flower is going. He told them very carefully. The outside of the city is crowded with people. Master Vo is standing on high. Talk to each other about recent rumors. I was wondering if it was a sword. It's not duck news this time. Not before. News of the sword strain has appeared more than 5 times. Sao. The old man said it was different this time. Don't you see everyone gathered here? News about swordsmanship this time. It's from the state. So the big names also quit their jobs. But run here. What else? Feet to watch. And I saw some special people. Look, there's not 5 players. Devil God of Jiangxi Sao. And the one in the pink is the 3 demon slayers. The elder continued. There are only 3 demons. Even the invisible demons are here. Look at the flood at that time. My feet have a feeling. It's an atmosphere like there's going to be a war. The elder pointed out. Both the swordsmanship department and Luoyang's Tung Jingmen. I see all the women. It seems like all the schools have a reputation around here. All gathered enough. He then turned to ask his disciples. Tang said it had only been stolen for 3 days. During that time, it's all about Indonesia being Sao. And do they know what's in it? The truth is, ask more. Say something. Then it seems that the Hoa Sun people already believe in swordsmanship. Then the elder must have discovered something. His face became restless. I keep repeating the news. Looking far away, he thought. What they aim for. It's not the value of the sword. It's a stop. Vo Blanket is going into the excavation alone. Sword play. If you can't get it yourself, no one can get it. Really is. I feel the malice in this. Master, stand still, foot high, and asked, Elder, what should we do? He turned around and said nothing had changed. They're concentrated in Indonesia. It means there's still no AI that can solve the museum. But the plan to avoid the eyes of others has fallen apart. But we just need to get into the swordsmanship first. Then there won't be any problems. You know their plan. They've noticed that we're in this place. They're just waiting for us to act first. If we start to act, they'll come after us at any cost. Find out the location of the sword. They will find a way to stop us. The old man was speaking in a proud voice. But we are martial arts. Every one of us is capable. We can deal with them. There is no AI in the world. We have the power to stop our way. Get ready. A word that shows your determination to fight. On the road, everywhere there are people of different sects. Bugs who cover their faces to reveal their sinister eyes. An old man with long hair and a muscular body. The face behind the gas. 3 demon slayers with pink eyes cover who look quite mysterious. With a glare of steel feet, said illusory, "We will come to the sword." The elders said people will soon know that. We just don't want to mess things up. It's not hiding out of fear. He said a certain thing. We're going to get the knitting mix. On the campus of Hoa San, both the owner and the buttocks are on the roof. Brother Chun asked, "Why are you looking for your ass?" White Sky said, "It's the Da Luyang manure of the state." The more I hear, the more I can't believe it. Master Luyang muscle breakdown. He asked to stop. The owner of Luyang Sao came to Indonesia again, looking for middle ass. Brother can only talk. I'm not sure what that kid did. He said, but I am sure of one thing. The man's eyes looked at the middle buttocks. Not friendly at all. On the roof, the dung master rolled his eyes. Now, there are more martial artists than Indians. Is it as you wish you were satisfied? Middle buttocks facial answering. What's so strange about him coming all the way here? Not the confessor. There is a sword on his side in Indonesia. He was afraid that he was stealing the sword before and after. Old man Kier heard that to smoke. And then he sighed. He restrained his anger. And then talked softly to the buttocks. Okay, so now you're going to tell me the plan. The middle buttocks both drank and replied superficially. What counts? We're just looking at the view. We have enough money, so we need to hurry. His carefree words. It makes him crazy. He thought, give this boy a beating. But imagine his extraordinary power. It can destroy everything. Too much to beat yourself up. You tell yourself that we have to stop. Calm down. Look at that son of a bitch's face. He thought again. To rearrange things. This guy took my money and ran away. Then one day I chased him here. But that's it. There's nothing we can do about it now. If we wait for the support from the total momentum, it still takes a few days. And the martial arts are probably about to come to the sword race. Even if the support comes here, it's also a hastily assembled army. It's only about 2 inches. In that amount, you can't chase and deal with all the sub-factions. Let's not talk about fighting. The more you think, the more he frowned so that he could enter the sword race. In terms of power, people can put their trust. It could just be this kid. The sky must have fallen. He encouraged himself. But even Sao has something to choose from. His nerves are not normal, though. But there must be something. If it wasn't for that, this wouldn't have happened. Surely there's something in this kid's madness. That's the last hope we can count on. So, now I have to put up with his obnoxious appearance. He urged the buttocks. What do you have to do now? And the middle of the ass went into a drunken stupor. He asked if he could have a drink. And he was serious. Now is not the time to drink. Outside the martial artists have gathered like ants. You see that without thinking. Chu but laughed. To be honest, AI is too ambitious. What are you looking for? I can't understand. Why the idiots? Put all your energy into it. Heard that the boss, Feng, brought the battle cheek. To gnash his teeth, gnash his eyes. He screamed a little loud. This bastard, Kier, you have to go get the knitting mix. It's mixed. You are asking others to do good. The bottom. Brother and sister were afraid of sweating. In front of his storm-like anger, the buttocks only replied with one word, oh. And then I said, I'm scared. The mouth is still chewing. Wearing this mandarin. Look outside. People are busy acting like that. What are you guys thinking? Suddenly, someone landed on the roof. The owner looked with panicked eyes. He asked who it was. Jesus said martial arts is coming. The wine of the middle butt fell down. Hear a stunned sound. Everyone below is panicked. The cotton stands up. He laughed happily. Come on, let's go. The brothers shouted out loud. Everyone is gone. Only the butcher is left. He's still on the roof. Meanwhile, the Hoa Sun brothers were galloping in the wind. The boss is angry at the beggars below. Why do you still look like that? Here's beggars, chase them, chase them. They are quick to run and clear. Now he is fucking shit. We must chase after Hoa Sun. He fired a shot from the roof over here. The roof over there. You have just made up your mind. Everybody's gone, leaving the campus empty, 01 shadow people. Ass and Apocryphal step out of the room to see the empty view. Ask your father what this is about. Camouflage with worried face replied, my son doesn't know. What do you think that person is thinking? The view of a majestic mountain range looming before you. Inside the forest, there's a bunch of people chasing each other like flying arrows. The elder used his life to the best of his ability to run away from the pursuit of the people. Blindfolded. There were some people following. If it's normal. Sure, they had to pay attention to the movement. And dare not be reckless. Like this time, they didn't even seem to notice the look of the martial arts. He said casually to the back. The man quickly replied, yes, old man. He stood still to tempt the enemy. Enemies surround themselves unknowingly, but he kept dancing and spinning. Then shout out and prepare to deal. A leader from Kier gave the order. All those who have come here. The subordinates echoed in unison. The one-eyed old man stared at the unknown. The elder is both running and aesthetic for those who are blinded by greed. You can't use words to convince. It's better to use force to minimize sacrifice. Not too far away, he replied. He is coming. if it is broken according to the solution. They have just finished talking about their current state and launched out of that treacherous forest. The elder frowned to observe the situation. He stands proudly on this land that aesthetically. Is it here? Get out of the woods. It's an empty space without a plant. There's definitely something strange. If you don't think about it, just walk by. I'll just think simple. This place is a little weird. But if you're in doubt, it's not strange. There's obviously a sword in here. From below the ground looking up, you can see the elder. He ordered everyone to investigate. They're all running away. His student drew his sword. They all dropped their swords to the ground to probe the situation. The sword's tip dropped deeper and deeper. Surely there is in this place. Sure. I thought the student was putting all his strength into the bar. Sword. Without hesitation, he shouted the announcement, "There's something here." The elder changed his face. Rush to that place. He struck the area with his sword. And then there's a devilish smile. Back off, everyone around you, back off. The elders began to exercise their inner power. Under his feet began to appear strange phenomena. The ground shook violently. Everyone was very surprised. The old man was still very calm. He searched a room. Take your sword off the ground. Lan's energy is everywhere. Flying through the rocks. To form a hurricane-like vortex. A stone tablet with an inscription suddenly appeared. When he saw that, his mouth was open and his eyes were white. I found it. The giant stone is gradually becoming clear. The others were just in time to catch up. The one-eyed leader hadn't seen a shadow before. I heard his voice. Let's get out of the way. You think we don't know? What are you hiding? Come closer. He suddenly stopped as if he saw something. There is something there. He's opening something. Found it can't be wrong. Suddenly, I looked at him without knowing what to do. He was bewildered, silent, unable to speak. And the Kier leader made a happy face. Like the swordsmanship season. He quickly ordered his followers. They're opening the entrance. Let's go in. I stand in the midst of these religious people. These people are crazy. Stop them from letting them in. The battle broke out violently. He shouted to warn everyone of the martial arts. To hold on. Prevent them from going to the elders. The elder still did not forget to be vigilant in the back. The eye behind the gas. Then he screamed out of nowhere. Immediately nothing kicked out the two bandits. Protect the safety of elders and swordsmen. He is not ready to draw his sword. Slashing a definitive blow. It killed countless people. Blood splashed on the ground. After we're done dealing with that mess. He turned his head and answered, "Yes, brother." Brother Kier's temperament is stronger than I thought. We can't just investigate. Please help me out. Just get the knitting mix. We will withdraw immediately. If you don't answer, I won't let anyone through. He glanced at the sword. Look at the students. Working hard on that giant rock. He's been impatient for too long. Stay away. My air sword didn't leave a scratch. It's not a normal mass of iron. If you can't, you have to try. He pointed his sword at the sky. And then put all your energy into it, slashing into that stubborn rock. After a while, the rock cracked, emitting a bright light. He stood calmly watching. Rush to the back. The 7 secrets that lead to the earth are opened. The rocks that broke off earlier also fell down there. This is a very deep hole, so there's no light that can shine. He looked down at the bottom of the hole. If you don't think about it, just jump in. It will probably fall free. How to make a place like this? I don't know in the mountains. It seems to be a sword strain. It's hidden under this tunnel. Maybe we should jump in this dark place to get the raw SAO. It's cruel, but we can't go back. It can't be stopped forever. People are following behind. Nowhere. When I heard my name, I answered, yes, brother. We will lead. I stand here watching, until suddenly and the other disciples come back. Then in the back, I didn't listen to your brother as advice. I'll take the disciples with me. He looked at the students and ordered them all to follow me. They all said yes. He and everyone began to descend into this secret cellar. You can't know what's inside. But there is no darkness. This light can't stop us. The mix must be ours. Above the ground, people are still fighting each other. Get the rats out of my way. Suddenly back to the back. He grinds his teeth and grinds his teeth in pain. The smiling desert guest said, "Ha ha ha, the Vo are so greedy. Dare to touch your father's stuff. No one can take the contents of this desert and keep it. Split you in two." The man with the big knife jumped up, high towards the unnatural, and cut a line. Suddenly rolling his eyes, his eyes widened, he panicked, couldn't think. Deserts plummet, but suddenly Ra stopped his blade. Ironically, he was no different from the wild boars. A body like this without using its power. The old man shouted out of the way. I can't help but slash the old man in half now. He told him all the time, "Relax your mind, I will help you." Inside the forest, there are 3 more strangers. It's coming to where the sword is. He's running and breathing, you idiots. So that's 5 players. He laughed and said things like this. Those who come later will take everything. When we get there, they're all ready to go. Just deal with the guys who are fighting. It will all belong to us. Someone asked low, "If we can't find it, why?" It's too late to worry about that now. It's because we started too late. What's on the plan? The old man glanced at the people. It's later than us. Go to the altar speed. Don't block the way. Get out of the way. The Kier people were thrown to the sky. Just go and talk to the people of the world. If they focus too much on the Middle East, why? The noise is running fast. The desert is always mad. He with the big axe of terror rushed to nowhere. He shouted, keep going. Fortunately, I didn't jump out in time, or the whole body would have broken in half like the Kier tree. Nothing jumps back. But despite all the time still not let go, he swooped forward and quickly raised his axe. He's loud. How long are you going to run away? This time, there was no escape. He stopped infusing internal mercury into alkaline air. Faced directly to the enemy. I can't believe the slender sword under the axe. It's like a piece of string. It's pitiful to shrink back. Just one. Both are turned off. The desert is aggressive. I'm starting to use tricks now, old man. That size, you can't leave a wound on a person. Overbearing. He doesn't know that nothing has passed behind him. It's a very powerful kick. Flying stones of the desert. The kick was so horrible. An entire patch of dense forest behind it had to be destroyed. Future. LAN economy to others as well. They panicked and stopped everything. Staring in the direction of nowhere. He turned to call casually. Follow the rest of the disciples. Go inside the sword. With a straight head, yes. The rest we will deal with. End words. Some people just run away all of a sudden. Don T wait a moment to speak up. As if everyone, both friends and enemies can hear it. Everybody go home. This is where Vo was first occupied. From now on, AI intends to chase Vo's disciples. Or want to enter the sword race, you will have to face the sword of the Lord. Obviously, if you're confident. The nothingness blazes with gas. Extremely intense. To make the big-faced opponents shiver. They muttered to each other. Is the elder of Vo is the most aggressive of the government. This old man keeps talking nonsense. Suddenly, from the distance, a man in red, covered his face, came to ask. You are the owner of the sword. No, seriously looking at the enemy. He recognized the three demons. The red Superman replied. Looks like your eyes are still sharp. The owner of the sword is the sword. Not martial arts. Maybe he's hugging. I was the first to discover the sword. So it's mine. Are you not afraid of people laughing at you? Ha 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 ha, I can't believe it. The three demons sometimes say the right thing. A voice fluttered with a loud laugh. Is the vice. He walked through every tree that fell to the ground. One of them just cleaned up a name. He continued to see nothing. The truth of Vo is famous in the world. It's an honor for me. There is no silence, even the great sword comes to her. Yourself, it's not easy to deal with these guys. In a short time, people with blood in the streets. Everybody focus here. All three demons and the great sword. Smiling Vice. He said I didn't mean to defend the Kier 3. But martial arts is getting the reason first that threatens the heroes like that. Then this attitude is not consistent with the reputation of Vo. Are a little. Not wrinkled. Ask them if they are going to fight a martial artist. Close to the voice. I just want to say, the opportunity is fair to everyone. We don't need to know martial arts, or the AI that discovered the sword strain. But the right to go in there is for everyone. Don't you guys? The space is still silent. There is no answer. After a while, my voice trembled. Talk louder, right? Vo's heart is growing too big. The others are on the right track. You are selfish first. Maybe they're 6 now. Get out. Get out. The atmosphere from the bad person 01 again radiated sweetly. I gave you a clear warning. Anyone who wants to enter the sword race. We must defeat the sword of our enemy. He held the sword behind him. Oh my God. That sounds scary. But that. If we were afraid of that, we wouldn't be here. He turned a spinning sword. It's creating this strange wind. Suddenly, the disciples finally came in. He hesitated a little before going inside. You seem to be worried. Let the brother fight alone. Outside Kier. After a while questioning myself, he also jumped into the cave. Follow the crowd. Back to nothingness, he held out his hand, bending the sword. Your voice is loud and you can do whatever you want. He threw his sword to the ground. Make a big explosion. The dust is flying massively, so there is nothing.